We're going.
It's live?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is Jeremy to this up, but we have all these exercises on here. We have two blocks for this. We have this first block and then the second block. We're gonna spend half the time basically on this block, the other half of the time on the bottom block. And so the first three exercises are squat, dumbbell one arm press, and bent row. And so we're gonna be working through those. What we're gonna do this month, is you've got your own little zone here. So you've got the weights, you got a barbell, you got a dumbbell there, and you're changing weights around between the two of those things. So, we'll be doing a squat first, and then we change the weights around for the one arm press, and then we change the weights around for bent row, and then we go back to squat again. So we do just one set of each one of those, and then go back through those. So we don't go to anything on the bottom, we stay on those top ones until we finish all of our sets of those top ones, and then we move on to the next group there. Or when the trainer says, switch there on that, so you may have to stop in mid set or not mid set, but maybe before you finish an exercise on that. So I'm going to show you that how to do some of these exercises, see if we can maximize the benefits that you can get from this workout. We are doing 21s this month, and so what that means is that we are doing basically 21 reps on that. So it's 7 bottom half repetitions, so I'm coming halfway up, 7 top half, and then 7 full. All right, and so where the bottom is a little bit different on different exercises there, so I'll show you a little bit on those. So I'll show you the squat first. All right, so I got the weight ready, bring the bar up, bring the bar over, and I got the bench right here, so I can set myself up. We got these benches here, so really just for squat. That's all we're using for. The other stuff we're just gonna be right on the floor. So top halves are right in here. So I'm pushing the butt back as I do that. Big thing that happens when we do top halves and bottom halves on squats is people tend to start shifting knees forward more, and more of the weight goes on the toes. So you're really gonna have to work on that during these sets here, is that the butt goes back. So halfway down and back up, sinking in through there. All right, so good posture. Everything's all set right there. You do start to notice it's even more difficult when it gets to the bottom half. So you get all the way down, so weight is on the heels, chest out, butt out, sinking low in there, and then you go halfway up. So right about in there. Back down and halfway up. Right? In that position there. Really think about pushing the heels down as you do that. Try not to pump these out too much. Is spend a little bit of time going through that. Now once I get 7 of those, now I go 7 full. 7 all the way down, all the way up. All the way down, all the way up. Now, squat is, all the same rules apply to a normal squat. Weight on the heels, knees out, back is straight. All those posture positions, matter pretty good. And we go over that fairly well. So just make sure you nail that. The big temptation is going to be shifting towards toes more. So stay back on those heels. Make sure those bottom half ones really are the bottom half, where you're hitting, if you can't get all the way down, you're hitting your maximum stretch in the hips before you come back up. Because we want eventually the hips to loosen up, so we are getting deeper in that motion. So we have more flexibility being built, and then that's one of the most helpful things we can do for you, is get you more flexible, even if we don't get you stronger. So more flexible can be a huge deal there. So once I do 7 top, 7 bottom, and 7 full ones, I finish that one and I go on to chest press. The time that it takes to change the weights over to chest press is needed in here. All right, so if it feels antsy, that you're having this downtime, don't worry about it. All right, you need a little bit of downtime, and the body needs to recover a little bit so you're not exhausting yourself, so you still have good energy to hit the next exercise. So, we change the weights around. I've cheated, and I'm just gonna use a light one and show you this. So we have the one arm press here. All right, so for this, it's gonna feel really easy for that the shoulders could be the foundation, but it's not the foundation. The heels need to be the foundation of this exercise. So I dig my heels in. I'm almost doing a booty bridge. So I'm squeezing my glutes a little bit. My abs are pulled in, and I squeeze my shoulders right in, break my ears, chest out, and I do top half right in here. On the other arm, you could go out to the side. With that, maybe you want to do like a mimic on the other arm, just to help you set up that posture really well. Arm position is not out to the side, not tucked in, but somewhere in between. So usually actually working on where the handle is angled. So if it's angled this way, typically the arm comes in. If it's angled this way, typically the arm goes out. So you're actually trying to find about a 45-degree angle with the handle, and that should get you close to that 45-degree angle with the arm. Right, so that little space right in there, that allows for the best posture, because right in here, this is, head going out in front of hands while I'm doing a push-up, right? This is a bar coming over my mid-chest there, so that's the position we want to get to. And so we do top halves right in here, so we're halfway down and back up, halfway down, back up. And then we go bottom halves, all the way down. Now, I like this because we can't go any farther than here, because a lot of times we go too far down and our shoulder doesn't have the flexibility for it. We end up straining across the front there. That can still happen though. I think the biggest mistake that's going to happen on one arm press is, I'll hold middle position here, is this. It is subtle. This is my shoulder being up and forward. So my shoulder's elevated and it's throwing forward. This is going to get my bicep tendon a bit more. We're going to get some across the front of the shoulder, putting a lot more pressure through here. Now, the difference is that tucking back and down. And now that changes it to being more of across the armpit, even across through here. And a lot of times when you do that, you're going to feel your abs work more too. So here, not much abs. Here, core comes in. Better posture means better abs and every exercise. So you're working right in through that position, not this one, right? So even though we can't go too far down, essentially it is too far down because my shoulder's out of position there. So tuck that in and you crank those out. So we do 7 top, 7 bottom, and then 7 full range. When you're coming down and coming back up, imagine that the weight is balanced over your elbow, right? So you're not doing any of this, because this is a bad angle there. This is tipping way in, in there. And we're also not, coming way out to the side. It's not swinging way out. The weight stays over the elbow, and as my elbow kind of comes in, the weight shifts in a little bit there too, right in there. So it's like the weight is balancing right above the elbow. So it's not as much strain through here. It's going to get more action through the chest, upper back even, as we're doing. So that's one arm press. That one's going to be one of the trickier ones to do there. All right. The last one in that first set is the bent over row. And so we're grabbing on a pretty wide grip. I usually grab on and I stand all the way up. All right, so I don't just grab on and stop right here because my back a lot of times may not be in the right spot yet. So I stand up, set that posture first, make sure all those vertebrae are lined up well, shoulders back, good chin position, slight bend in the knees, and I push my butt back to tip over there. So see how straight my back is right in here? I'm not rounding in through there. I'm really pushing that chest out, really pushing the butt out. This is the main benefit of this exercise, actually, is this position, because it's a position that you will actually have to use in real life. You will bend down to pick up something, and we want you to be really, really good at it. All right, so right in here, chest out, butt out, and we start with just a small squeeze. Try to make sure it's more of a shoulder blade thing, not an arm movement thing, but a shoulder blade squeeze. So that little bottom part of that, we do 7 of those, and then we do 7 full squeeze. One thing I see sometimes happen when people squeeze too far is the shoulders roll over. All right, so they pop through this way. All right, they pull too far back, they pull the bar to their body, and the shoulders pop through. That's not good. That's the same thing as we just talked about on the one arm press. So that rounding through there. So chest out, butt out, squeezing in through there. So do 7 there, and then do 7 full range of motion there. Full range right in there. All right, so as you're doing that, make sure posture stays really, really nice as we are going there. So those are the first 3. The next set there, after we do 3 or 4 sets of those, I would like you to be only able to get through 3. If you're getting through 4, you may be going a little bit too fast. So fight the temptation to pump through them, is go slowly through them. And once we get the weights up enough, that transition of moving the weights around will be needed more. You won't feel as antsy about that. The next set here, hopefully is this still rolling?
Yes, we're rolling now.
All right, so I don't know if you guys have heard that, but hopefully not. Then we got bar triceps, lunge biceps, plate shoulder, and V-ups are the next group here. So bar triceps, you're going to bring it around here. I'll just roll that way so you can see. And come down. So narrow hand grip. All right, right in here. Thumbs are on the back side, tends to be a bit easier. If I loop over this way, it's tough sometimes to get the elbows in. My wrists kind of can feel funny. So if I loop back that way, it's going to be a bit better there. So I squeeze those elbows in, coming back down and up. That's what the full range looks like. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do those top halves, bottom halves, and full range again. So you do 7 top halves, so come down a little bit and back up. One of the big mistakes, can you show this from the side, Lynn?
Yep.
Is, so one of the big mistakes that happens is people come down towards the face and like peeking over the bar. You look how sharp an angle that is in my elbow. My elbow's hurting right now. All right, this does not feel good. Whereas back here, much better. All right, so make sure you have that position going right. Even when you're doing top halves, make sure the bar still goes back and up, and it's not coming down and up. All right, it's coming back, so this part of the arm staying fairly still throughout that motion. So you do the top half, range of motion there, squeeze those elbows in, then bottom half. Now the bottom half starts to feel tougher. Feel the work there. And keep those elbows in tight. You'll feel a lot more work when the elbows are squeezing in there. And then you've got full range of motion right through there. One of the best tips I ever heard was somebody telling me to keep my elbows squeezed in like I was holding a helium balloon. And you don't want to float up to the ceiling, so you're holding that balloon right in there as you're going. So try to use that to help you focus in there. Make sure you're not shrugging up, as you're doing that one. All right, so that's the tricep. Good focus on that one. Then we have the lunge bicep. So you go as low as you can get to on this one. So you got a big stance. You're sinking down. If you can get all the way down, go way low. I'm not resting my knee on the ground, but I am low in here. Make sure this knee is over the ankle as you're doing the exercise there. You'll tend to want to drift back in here. Keep it right in here. Try to stay on the heel. We're not forcing our foot into the toes there. We're keeping a squeeze back. That's going to require more from the hips as we're doing this. All right. So we want to gain flexibility. So posture number 1, then range of motion, and then extra resistance here. Now for this, the extra resistance is actually the range of motion for the legs, and for the arm. Extra weight on here is not going to add too much to the legs. It is going to add it for the arm though. So we're going to lunge, and we're doing bottom half bicep curl right in there. Mistake people will make is this one here. The elbow drifting back behind him too much. Keep that right by your side. Come up right in there. This part of the arm should be pretty vertical with the ground. All right. And we come all the way up, halfway down. Mistake that happens right in here is the shoulder because of kicking as you do it. Don't let that happen. Keep it pulled back. Keep that strong chest out, that strong posture as you catch it and bring it back up there. All right, and then we have that full range. Still, again, steady body position. If you can't stand being down there that long, hop in and come up a little bit. Your goal will be eventually to be able to spend more and more time down there and to be able to get lower. If you need to start off just right up in here and getting the bicep curls going, start it there. And then over time, you start hopping it more, getting lower, hopping it more, getting lower. Maybe you can only do the first 7 down in that deepest spot, and then you're going to come up to get the next 7. That's fine. You can do it that way. So again, you're making progress here and making progress with what the arm can do too. All right, a little tip on that. This doesn't work. All right, because this is the front leg. It's like you move the leg out of the way so you can do that curl. All right, so that leg goes back to make that happen. All right, so that is the lunge bicep. Then we have plate shoulder. I'll just take the weight right up here. You can hold on to these. You can hold on thumb through the hole on some of them. So like a 2.5, 5.5, or a 5 pound can work pretty good for that. Starting to get heavier, maybe it's a little bit tougher to do some of these. Some people enjoy the holding on that way, kind of putting a finger through. Either way is fine with me, as long as you get it done. You can hold flat-handed if you need to, but make sure you have a good grip on it. All right. So for this one, we're going to violate the 21s there. We're going to do 10 of each, but we're not doing any half things. All right. So in here, shoulders down, chest out, ready to have the abs in tight. I like a kickstand step for this one. You're going arms up, about shoulder height, and back down. Alright, so I would do more than this. It's a bit more difficult, but it will be. So you got 10 up and down. If you want to make this tougher, lean into a little bit more. Alright, because the tennis is going to be leaning back. That makes it easier to do this exercise. Lean into it a little bit more and make it tougher without having to raise the weight up. Then you're going to go kind of more even stance. You're coming up the side. Right up the side, back down. If you want to make this tougher, don't go all the way down. Right in there. Do not go above shoulder level for that. Above shoulder level and back down. Right in there as you're spot there. And then we have overhead. So right in here, I like to go back to a little kickstand step on that, and you're pressing up right in through there. So right here, so another way to make this tougher without raising weights, same as the front raise, tipping forward, makes it work those shoulders a little bit more. And the temptation is to want them back, so when you tip forward, it makes it more difficult. You should feel the core working, especially on front and overhead, because it's fighting against that urge to lean back. If your shoulders are feeling gunky, there's a couple things that you can do. There's one, you can try turning the wrist up this way. So on the front raise, do it that way. On the side, you do it that way. And so that position can be a bit easier on the wrist versus being rotated over. Just turn it that way. It can be help out a little bit. Go lighter for these. So if your shoulders are not really happy right now, I don't even care if it's just with your arm weight. That can be helpful there too. Overheads may be extra difficult for that, so maybe you could do these ones fine, but then maybe the overhead, you just drop the weights and go with just your hands for just like a good stretch reach there. So there's that one, and then rocking around, stuff like that, probably some of the big mistakes in there. V-ups. V-ups is the last one. So you can have these weights in, or this way, hopefully we'll build up the weights of what we do on the V-ups, and maybe, some people may even get to using a bar or something like that, for V-ups where you can actually come back and squeeze through there as you're doing the V-up. Right now, I'll show you just with some plates there. But so legs are up in the air, abs are in tight, reaching back, and you're doing small ones back here. Small range of motion, so you got 7 there. You come up a little bit more, and you got 7 up at the top. 7 top range of motion, V-ups there, and then you got 7 full range on that. The biggest mistake on the V-ups is going to be as you reach back. As you reach back, you'll have the temptation to arch the back. Alright, there'll be space appearing underneath that lower back. Don't let that happen, because then what we're doing is like, if I'm going through here and through there, I'm getting a lot of motion in that lower back. I'm bending one way, bending the other way. So make sure as you're reaching back, that's when you should be working hard. So I reach back. This is where the core has to work the most, because it's the biggest temptation for arching when my arms are farther back. Alright, so this is really, really tough. This one almost feels a little bit easier in some ways. Alright, if your neck gets tired, that's part of it. Neck tired absolutely can happen on this exercise because you're holding it up for 21 repetitions. That's a decent amount of time there. Make sure as you're doing it, it's more the front of the neck that you feel getting tired. That's okay, because front of the neck and abdominal tension or tiredness and strength are highly correlated. If you're feeling back of the neck, in through here, check to see if your chin is not coming out too much. If your chin's coming out too much, then you're really knotting up that back of the neck. So try to draw that chin back as you're doing it. Like even just talking for this long and keep my head off the ground this long, my neck is getting tired. That does happen. You can set it down in between. If you do 7, set it down for a second, give it a quick little pause, and then come up for the next ones, give it a little pause, so you could rest it a little bit if you need to. So if it starts to get too much in there, take a break on that if you need. All right, so that's the V up there. All right, so those are our exercises for this round there. Make sure you are doing your best to do them correctly. As much range of motion, pain-free range of motion as you can take on, with those exercises. So if you have any questions, talk to one of the trainers. If you aren't sure whether you got it right, ask us. We'll be walking around trying to help and try to find out any places we can miss. But there's for this particular setup, there's a lot of coaching we could do, but we won't know until somebody speaks up and says, hey, this doesn't feel right. Do I have this right? Can you check on this? Just call us over, and we'll help you out with that. So a lot more autonomy, I would say, with this lifting routine than we have in the past. There's not like anybody else that you're working back and forth with or anything like that even. And so it's a chance for you to really get in there and get your work done. And then we're just really here to help you to get that work done as best as possible. So if you have any questions, send us a message or ask us in class. So hopefully this was helpful just to go through those exercises, talk through a couple of the major problems that could come up, the positional things that we may end up messing up on. Generally, it is get into good posture, and then you'll be good to go. All right, so this is Jeremy saying have fun, be safe, and thank you, Lynn, for holding the phone for that long.
do the X.
Yeah.